Guys, you know I had to wear all those skin-tight dresses when I hosted that show. Thank God I had my Honey Love shapewear. Treat yourself to the best bras and shapewear in the market. Shop Honey Love's holiday sale and save an additional 20% off site-wide at honeylove.com/juicy. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off honeylove.com/juicy to find your perfect fit. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support Juicy Scoop and tell them I sent you. It's time to ditch the underwire for good, thanks to Honey Love. This episode is brought to you by iRestore, the clinically proven advanced hair growth system designed for women who want to say goodbye to thinning hair and hello to volume. Are you ready to get medical grade red light treatment at home to regrow your hair for a limited time only? Our Juicy Scoopers will get $625 off their order when you use code JUICYSCOOP. iRestoreLaser.com. That's your order at iRestoreLaser.com with the promo code JuicyScoop. Please support Juicy Scoop and tell them I sent you. Hair loss is frustrating. You don't have to fight it alone. Thanks to iRestore.
Heather McDonald has got the juicy scoop. When you're on the road, when you're on the go, Juicy Scoop is the show to know. She talks Hollywood tales, her real life Mr. Segment serial data, and serial sister. You'll be addicted and addicted fast to the #1 tabloid real life podcast. Listen in, listen up. Woo woo. Heather McDonald, Juicy Scoop.
Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. All right, let's get into it. Lots of hot topics and updates and then a real fun interview. So people are concerned. TMZ is saying people are concerned. Of course, Britney Spears doesn't have comments. She hasn't for a long time on her posts, but it was her birthday and she was talking and it was weird. Now it could be a joke. She's turning 42 and she says, I'm not 42. I'm actually 5 now and I'm going to kindergarten. And look at my friend gave me this cute little cupcake. And then she went on to say, I don't know why the paparazzi had me going on a plane holding a torch. I was not holding a torch. So then I'm like, what is this about? So I look and it shows her going on a plane and she's like a weird, like a bandana mask on her mouth. And then she's holding like a grill lighter, like how you'd hold like a lighter for like a fire pit or whatever. And she's going on a plane. And so people were like, usually those things aren't allowed on planes. So I don't know why she was holding it, but she was. And hopefully they didn't let her light it on it or whatever. If it's a private plane, they're probably like, hey, we need to take that from you. I don't know. She seems to be in Mexico and, she's continuing to spin around and dance. And here's the thing. It's what I've been saying for a while. So what? This is her life. This is what she likes to do. This is how she likes to be creative. And whether she thinks she's 5 or not, she still doesn't need to be in any kind of conservativeship. Hopefully, I imagine somebody's still helping to make sure her electric bill is paid and that she always has, enough money to carry on her life in her house. But other than that, I think she has a right to live and you have a right to follow her or not. Peacock has a 3-part series documentary that I watched last night called Girls Gone Wild, The Untold Story. For some of you that are following me for a long time, may know that I, too, did an interview with Joe Francis, who was the creator, owner, president of Girls Gone Wild. This was, for a lot of people that are younger might go, what is the story? I'm not that interested. I don't know about it. I thought the documentary was really good. Having known him for many years, I have many thoughts about it. There was a lot of things that was left out that I find really interesting. And so I wanted to let you guys know if you're part of Patreon or part of the Apple subscription, that will be what this Friday's episode is about, because there's lots of juice in there that I'd like to share what happened after I did my interview and how it pertains to what's in the doc. So, you might want to watch the doc before you listen, or you can listen and then go watch the doc. It won't really matter. But I wanted to let you guys know that. So you go to heathermcdonald.net and you can join the Patreon or do the Apple subscription here and you'll get that episode. Very interesting thing. This is reported everywhere. TMZ is saying OJ Simpson's ex-bodyguard claims to have a murder confession recording. So The cops have revealed, police officers, that law enforcement in Bloomington, they have access to these thumb drives it was part of another investigation where now this former bodyguard, I guess they either found it or he gave it to them, but allegedly on these thumbnails is OJ confessing to the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. And also allegedly there's a mention of some other person that was involved. Wow, this is really juicy. Most of us believe he was responsible. But just like the John Bonet situation, which we don't know at all for sure who did it, you always wonder, was there somebody else involved in this, with OJ? When he wrote the book, If I Did It, it was very strange. And he made it, and it was basically a friend was with me. A lot of people interpreted that as that was his second psychosis, like second personality that did it. Other people wondered, was his older son ever involved? That was another conspiracy theory. So I don't know, but this is very interesting. I'm assuming whoever this bodyguard is has something to do with whatever other case. Maybe this is helping his situation be like, hey, I know you're looking at me for this one other crime, but will you take some piece? Because here are these tapes. The guy is dead now, but I'm telling you, I have these thumb drives I've saved all this time. I don't know. I'm very curious to see how this turns out. Also, another case, the Menendez brothers. Our new DA has said that he's going to be looking at all the things that we've discussed of what might change. There was hope that there would be something that would happen. They'd be out for Christmas. Now he's saying by January 30th is when there'll be some type of a decision of resentencing, which could result in them being released, changing it to manslaughter, which means that the time would have been almost, served since they've done 35 years, or some type of, retrial or whatever. But we won't know till January 30th. But one thing that he said that was really great, our new DA, is that he's like, look, this got a lot of media attention, and I think that's good. But I also want to say that I will be looking at similar type cases that need to be relooked at that didn't have this media attention. This is not going to, jump to the front of the line just because you enjoyed a Netflix documentary or scripted show about it. But it was really good. He goes, but also that's good because take this time to be interested in other cases that maybe don't have such high profile, that maybe need to be relooked at, re-examined, Innocence Project, that kind of stuff. So I thought that was really cool. Okay, this story is so sad and strange. This is a story of Hannah, who was the young woman who came from Hawaii to LAX, and then she and her boyfriend were supposed to get on another plane and go to New York. They were no longer together. They were broken up, but somehow they were traveling together. He went on to New York, and she never got on the plane. He has cooperated with police. She sent strange texts from her phone saying someone's trying to take my identity and this and that. But there was, she was caught on surveillance for several days after that, and then nothing past November 11th. Well, then, unfortunately, the dad came from Hawaii looking for her, and they have declared that he ended his life. It sounded like he jumped from the parking structure in the LAX. Allegedly, the thought is so distraught, where's my daughter? Is she being trafficked? Whatever. Now the police are saying they have surveillance of her and records of her entering Mexico on foot by herself, looking unharmed, undistressed. And so now it is changing to a voluntary missing persons case. There also has been reports that this is not the first time that she's done something like this. Very hard, very strange, awful for the family. You know, why she doesn't know that people are looking for her. Does she know this happened to her dad? But the point is there's really nothing more that the police can do at this point. So wanted to give a follow-up on that. Khloe Kardashian, let me tell you something. She looks great. She's in this Bustle cover shoot. But the ass is gone, you guys. The Kardashian ass era is behind us, no pun intended. And I could not be more thrilled. As you know, I don't have a great ass, but I don't have to look at it. So I was always like, when is this going to go away? People would say, Heather, why don't you get ass fillers? Why don't you get a BBL? I can't believe that you're making us suffer walking behind you. And, you know, now it's out of style, okay? It literally in this photo shoot, she's covering it, and even the little bit that we see is not huge. Kim's ass has gone down too. Anyway, in this article, she talks about, you know, weight and whatever, but I just thought that was interesting. One thing she said was she had a therapist that she shared something very intimate with when she was going through her struggles with her first husband, Lamar. Oh, I guess that's her only husband, Lamar. And something came out in the tabloids, and she knew there's no way. I literally told no one else in the world this information. I'm leaving therapy and I'm going to the gym. And that's how she got so fit. And she's like, I wish Ozempic was around back when I was struggling. And I called myself the funny fat sister, but it wasn't. And I've just been on a workout journey for a long time. And she really has. She's been this size for like at least, you know, around this size for at least 10 years. And she looks great. And so that was interesting. Speaking of people who look great, people were always obsessed with Donatella Versace's weird plastic surgery face. And, you know, people will be like, oh my God, what did she do to herself? She looked like a Muppet. She like very strange. Well, it's amazing what plastic surgery has emerged to. And this is the golden era of plastic surgery. My God, she looks so good. She got rid of that skin tight ponytail. She has like a normal facelift. She has eyebrows. She looks amazing. She looks so good. People, save your money because plastic surgery is only getting better. And if that's something that you want to do, it's your choice to do it. And, you know, the point is everyone needs to be happy. Because Matt Rife, you know, one of our top comedians, says, I never got plastic surgery. I was a late bloomer. I was a late bloomer because when people put his early photographs of him together to now, he didn't have this like chiseled jawline looking like a very good looking model face. Again, we're never going to know for sure. And who cares? You know what? Either go and watch his stand up or not. Like, there you go. But he is saying, no, I did not have anything done. Meanwhile, Pamela Anderson is still on her journey of going to red carpets with her perfect body, and no makeup, and not even like a blowout. Like literally, she took a shower, let her hair dry naturally, and just like put on her dress and went. Like maybe she put on some body lotion, but maybe she didn't. I don't know. She still looks great. Well, when you're that perfect looking, good for her. But I'm kind of curious, will she keep this up forever? Or does she know this is just such a great kind of PR marketing? I love it. Again, I think you should be any size you want. You want to get plastic surgery. You want to, you know, wear a wig. You want to change your teeth. You want to not do any of that bullshit. You want to shave your head, whatever. Like, I think this is a great era of time, but you know, she is naturally has the most like perfect face. So she's still killing it. I'm kind of jealous. This was kind of interesting. JFK's grandson. Okay. So, this is JFK Jr.'s nephew. He did a little thirst trap and he's good looking. He's Caroline, his sister's son. And he did a thirst trap because he broke up with somebody. But in this photo, he has the phone and it's kind of covering his face, and he has a good body. He's thin and he's worked out, and he has this like beanie on, and with the phone in the selfie kind of covering his face, he really does look like JFK Jr. back in the day when JFK Jr. used to ride his bike around New York, the streets of New York, shirtless with just a beret on. Now, that's one of those weird things where it's like your memory. You know how people talk about how like, does the little guy in the Monopoly have a monocle or not? And everyone's like, no, he does. And then you really look at the Monopoly and he doesn't. I don't know if he was. There were just a lot of photos of JFK Jr. in a beret and a lot of him shirtless. So it doesn't really make sense that he'd have a beret, but maybe like a knit beanie. I don't know. But this is why they chose. I know whoever put this article together at People is probably from my era and like remembers being like so hot for JFK Jr. and seeing the resemblance. Guys, I had to wear all those skin tight dresses when I hosted that show. Thank God I had my Honey Love shapewear. It was so comfortable. I wore one fit for every dress, which was the Power Body Short, which sucks in the middle, gave me a flat tummy from the side, lifted my flat booty. I absolutely love it. Say goodbye to the bulky underwire bra. Remember, we always just thought we had to have that? Honey Love bras are so comfortable. They have this supportive bonding that eliminates the need for underwire without sacrificing the lift. You're going to absolutely love it. Treat yourself to the best bras and shapewear in the market. Shop Honey Love's holiday sale and save an additional 20% off site-wide at honeylove.com/juicy. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off honeylove.com/juicy to find your perfect fit. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support Juicy Scoop and tell them I sent you. It's time to ditch the underwire for good, thanks to Honey Love. This episode is brought to you by iRestore, the clinically proven advanced hair growth system designed for women who want to say goodbye to thinning hair and hello to volume. If you're tired of dealing with thinning hair or hair loss, listen up. The iRestore Elite is the most powerful device on the market, packed with 500 lasers and LEDs to provide maximum scalp coverage to help you grow thicker, longer, healthier hair. With the iRestore Elite, you can sit back, relax, binge watch your favorite show while it works. It's science-backed magic on your scalp. Grow thicker, healthier hair naturally with visible results in just 3 months. No drugs, no surgeries, just the most advanced technology for real results. Are you ready to get medical-grade red light treatment at home to regrow your hair for a limited time only? Our Juicy Scoopers will get $625 off their order when you use code JUICYSCOOP. iRestoreLaser.com. That's your order at iRestoreLaser.com with the promo code JUICYSCOOP. Please support Juicy Scoop and tell them I sent you. Hair loss is frustrating. You don't have to fight it alone. Thanks to iRestore. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Some interesting things have come out. Jennifer Tilly, who is an actress, voiceover actress, everything, is on the show. And she revealed that she is so freaking wealthy. This is the best story ever. Not only is she an actress, but we know actors don't make that much money. But she was married to the Simpson co-creator, Sam Simon. And she divorced him in 1991. But in the divorce, she got a percentage of The Simpsons. Now, in 1991, when they got divorced, who would have known the show was probably just a couple years out, that it would be what it is, still going on. And he did pass in 2015, but she is still making bank. Now that is the way you get divorced. Some of these housewives that I've talked about, I'll take this, settlement, 1.4. Sometimes that's your only choice or whatever million. And people go, wow, that's a lot of money. Yeah, but then it ends. Then it stops. If there is some business, you never know if there's some business that you were around for that either your husband did or maybe you were part of or whatever, that you can try to get a percentage of that. Vice versa. Same with the man, your partner. If you have got to be smart about that because, wow. What a genius move. And now she's on the Housewives. She's being funny. She's got nothing to lose. She's, single. I assume she's single. She doesn't have to worry about ending a marriage or dragging some crotchety husband that doesn't want to be there. She has money. She can have fun. And she's probably fuck it. Yeah, I'll do this stupid reality show. What the fuck do I have to lose? If you don't want me next year, if I don't want to do it next year, who cares? That is who we want. Genius. Also, this was interesting. This comes from Face Reality 16, an Instagram account that I really like. So Kyle and Dorit are having issues. And Kyle mentions, oh yeah, PK, Dorit's estranged husband. They're separate now. And I still send funny memes and things to each other. And the question was, since we're keeping score, this seems worse than a Teddy thing. Okay, someone said this. Yeah, I truly believe that when a couple breaks up, especially any couple, heterosexual, gay, whoever you're the closest person to, whoever your relationship is stronger with, but especially if it's heterosexual, I think you don't have to be rude, but you don't continue to correspond with the soon-to-be ex. You don't go, let's go have dinner with you and your new girlfriend. Why? What does it matter? No, you got to show some loyalty. And if maybe he was sending you funny things, I would even just stop responding. It's over. You and my friend are separated until you work out your shit. We're not going to talk. We're not going to correspond. So again, team Dorit on all of this. This was really interesting. This is coming from also friend of the show. Your moms are watching. So this Instagram account. Kyle is reading this book. Kyle Richards is reading a book, which is Moon Zappa's book it was her memoir. Moon Zappa was the original Valley Girl. She wrote the song and performed it at 13. She's a Valley Girl. Ooh, oh my God. And it let me tell you, Valley Girl came out. My sister and I went to Hawaii for Christmas, the one and only time we went to Hawaii with my parents. And when we said we were from the Valley, it was like we were rock stars for the first time ever. Everybody was like, do you know Valley Girls? Do you go to the Galleria? Yeah, we do. Anyway, she sees that she's reading the book in one of the scenes. She looks up the book and sees that she believes that a character named Elle was actually Kyle Richards, which makes sense because Moon Zappa, who was a daughter of a rock star, was living among the Richards sisters and everything. So it totally makes sense. And she said, Elle looks just like a miniature Brooke Shields. And said and there's more descriptions in the book that makes pretty sure that the character of Elle in Moon Unit Zappa's book is Kyle Richards. And of course, she probably heard about it and was like, I have to read this. This is amazing. How fun would that be? It makes me really want to read it now. So I'm sure somebody get it to me, or I'm going to ask her for it. Maybe she has it. But, and I could see that with the thick eyebrows and the dark hair. Okay, one of the last things. The OnlyFans top earner, who is this cute brunette girl, made $43 million last year. And she's a virgin. And I don't know how risque her content is. But she says, I'm a virgin and I'm a Christian. And you can do OnlyFans and you can do it by yourself. And you don't have to compromise your whatever. And I'm like, oh my God. As you guys know from my book, You'll Never Blue Ball in This Town Again, my first book, I was a virgin until I was 27. And really, besides selling that book, did not utilize this. If it was today, oh my God, if that would I can see the appeal. Also really interesting. Also, when you go and watch this Girls Gone Wild, which was, but guys would come and go to spring breaks, and they would go to these places that were, kind of small town spring breaks, but they'd become huge. So these people felt like Hollywood was coming. And then they'd have cute camera guys be like, just show us your tits. And they'd show them their tits and they'd get buzzed. And then they'd be on these videotapes. They wouldn't make money from it. It's very interesting. So the fact that girls can make money, and men make money in the privacy of their own homes, be in charge of it, do what they want on OnlyFans, take it down when they want, stop it when they want, is so great. And when you watch this, you'll be like, wow, what a different time. And it was only 20 years ago. So for the Something About Her sandwich shop, Ariana and Katie of Vanderpump Rules, they are going to trial. They are going to trial with the woman, Penny Davidi. she is suing them, saying that I was supposed to be a partner in this. I helped them come up with the menu. I did all these things. And they said, no, that's not true. And one of the things that she says is, I introduced them to boysen cheese. You know, the cheese that's like, it's been around forever. It like really made a lot of TikTok recipes a hit. Like you just put it, and then there's like a lot of recipes where you're like, oh, put this chunk of cheese in a pan and just throw some cherry tomatoes around, a little olive oil, a little salt and pepper. And I don't know, then just like throw some pasta in it later and it's whatever. But I guess she said, hey, put this cheese, on a turkey sandwich and like watch our lives change. So that's part of the thing she said they had no idea about. They never heard of the cheese. They didn't know about the cheese. Without her, they wouldn't know what to spread on this sandwich. I can't believe this is going to trial, but it is. And so that's kind of interesting. And then a lot of people are like, what is Tom Sandoval going to do? Is he going to continue with his cover band? What? Because he doesn't seem to that he filmed any of the Valley like some of the other cast. Well, he is going to do Vanderpump trivia shows. And I actually think that's a really great idea. A lot of people can answer a lot of the questions. How much nostalgia will there be in the upcoming years? Will it live on? Or let me jump on this now while it's still hot before everyone forgets. So kind of interesting. All right, you guys, now for my interview. I'm really excited for you to hear it. Let's go. Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. I have what I think is going to be a very juicy interview and a fun one because I loved watching you. This is the star, best known from the hit sitcom The Middle, but you've done so much. Eden Sher, welcome to Juicy Scoop for the first time.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Somehow I started following you, must have seen something funny that you did, and saw that you were doing a one-woman show about your life. I Was On A Sitcom. And so then we started to DM, and I'm so glad that you came.
I'm so glad that you started following me, because then I was like, wait a second, I know her. I know Heather McDonald. And then I started following you back, and then, you messaged me, and I was like, I'll do your podcast. Yes, you're hilarious. Of course.
So I want to get into a little bit about your life. For those of you that don't know the show The Middle, it was one of the funniest sitcoms. How many years did it go? 8?
9.
9 years. And it was one of the shows that I did watch with my kids. We were just talking about our ages. You have identical twin girls who are 3.
I do.
And I was telling you how my kids are now 25, 22, and 18. But we loved The Middle because it was so clever. And I'm telling you, you guys should go back and watch it, especially if you have kids in that teenage age, because it was such a clever show, and it was so funny. The writing was so funny, and it was a sitcom, but it was single camera, meaning you don't hear the laughter. It's Patricia Heaton, who is the wife in Everyone Loves Raymond, but a very different character. Much funnier in this.
I mean, I think she's a comedy god. She can do no wrong. But in rewatching it now, because now I have a podcast too.
Yes.
I'm doing a rewatch podcast of the show. So you can watch along with me and Brock, who played Brad. But
who was your boyfriend?
Yeah.
Okay.
My boyfriend. my gay boyfriend.
Was the funny. You guys did things that nobody had done yet. That was so funny. So, I mean, your character was kind of, can I say, dorky?
Of course you can.
Okay.
Please do. Are you kidding?
Dorky, but so unaware that you're dorky, which I love, like super positive. Teenage daughter who is the middle of the 3, older brother who's kind of like, I mean, we died because the older brother reminded us of my son Drake. And then you were just the girl that was just so, and then the little brother was typical third little brother where like, constantly, I remember there was one scene where they're like at the airport and she's just, what was the little brother's name?
Brick.
Where's Brick? Like constantly thinking like Brick is going to be lost or die or whatever. And just, so such distinct, I've never seen such funny, distinct characters for the kids. In any sitcom.
I was so prepared to become a prop because that's like in Raymond, like the kids are sort of, they're there when they need to be there for a story.
Right.
But I was like, if I stay on the show for longer than, a season, what a gift. I thought I'd just become like sort of part of the fabric of the house, but they really did. I've talked about it with Brock all the time, like how they really, and maybe they sort of lucked out in having fully formed and like comedic actors for all 3 kids. And so we get to we got storylines. We became like part of the show, not in the like kid prop genre. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I loved the whole idea of the show was the middle. She's in the middle of the country. She's middle-aged. She's middle class. And like I said, it was just one of those shows, where you just are like, wow, the writing's really great. It's lightning in a bottle when you have all the great actors. Who's the guy that played the dad?
Neil Flynn.
He was so great. And I saw a clip of you guys interviewing him, and you were asking him all these pop culture things and seeing what he knew and what he didn't. And it was just so genuine and just like raw funniness. So I love that do you keep in touch with all the people?
Yeah, my one-woman show, Charlie who played Axel, he and his wife directed it.
Oh, that's the older brother.
That's the older brother. He is still one of my best friends. Neil, he was just on the podcast. We have a very identical we have a very similar relationship. Everything you see on screen is very similar to off screen. Patty still texts. She still checks up on me. She's all over the place. I feel like she's never in LA.
She has a new show coming out, doesn't she?
Does she?
I thought I read somewhere that she and Kelsey Grammer were doing something.
She did a thing on Frasier.
No. A new thing is coming out.
Of course, she can't stop. She cannot stop working. This woman won't stop. She is a workhorse. I didn't know this, and I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But no, I love Patty and I love Neil, and they're my friends.
So let's get a little bit into, and then we'll go talk more about the show, because I could go on forever. But for the people that don't know the show, I want this to be, interesting. So you were born and raised in LA. So was I.
You were?
Yes.
Oh, where are you from?
Woodland Hills.
Oh my God, Valley Girls also?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I grew up in Van Nuys, Sherman Oaks, and then moved to Van Nuys. Well,
yes.
Lake Balboa area.
So, I talk a lot about my life, but we got an agent because the people next door their kids had an agent.
That's so
and then
funny.
they were like, "Oh, you should meet our agent," which was this woman named Iris Burton, who's kind of famous, and there was a movie, and Sharon Stone played her in this what was this movie? It was called it was this crazy movie that came out maybe 10 years ago about the worst movie ever, called The Room.
Oh, uh-huh.
Do you remember The Room?
Yeah, yeah.
So Sharon Stone played this her name was Iris Burton. She played this agent who was a child's agent, but she had some involvement in this weird movie that existed. Oh. And so she was just this woman that was I need a set of twins. And I remember I did an impression of her, because then she started to represent my niece and nephew many years later. Mm-hmm. And it was I need a set of twins because they can work twice the amount of time and all this. So that was my situation. So how did you get into, and I was not ahead or anything.
Wait,
I didn't do anything as a kid.
Are you a twin?
No.
You're not a twin. Oh, okay.
No, I had a sister. They did a little bit more commercials. My one sister did a lot of commercials. We were not that successful at it. I wasn't. But
right.
And then I just, then I pursued it as an adult. But I didn't have an age, once we aged out of this little age gap where they said, "Oh, now you've lost your teeth, goodbye." She never called us again. And then my mom was doing real estate and whatever, we moved on.
Yeah.
But you kind of have an interesting story of how you caught the bug in LA. So tell me that.
Yeah. My parents were not in the industry at all. My mom was
yeah.
I feel like the Valley is also a different place. The Valley is not Hollywood. The Valley is super suburban. I never felt like I was in LA.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that I knew I was really precocious as a kid.
Yeah.
I'm a smart person, but I was a really smart kid, like child. I was like too, like everyone just caught up to me eventually.
You mean studious? You're very studious?
Everything.
Okay.
I was like, I remember seeing my peers being like, you are idiots. Like, I don't understand how you're not understanding what I'm understanding. And I think when you're like a little kid who understands the world, understands adults, and like can talk to adults well, there's just like a different, like a combination of understanding adults and like being able to interact with adults and also having just like too many feelings, just huge overpowering feelings. I feel like when you find theater or acting, when you find this concept of acting, it's like eye-opening. It is world-broadening. And I feel like I found this pretty young. And I watched, like, no shade, Hilary Duff. What a lovely human. What a lovely human and so fun. And, like, honestly, just a great talent, actress, whatever. But I watched Lizzie McGuire, and I was like, I could do that better. I was like, that's
so funny. There was some other actor that told me that it was something that they were, I can't remember who it was, but that is a common theme that I've read where actors that are quite successful, it was the same thing, that they were just home watching things and they're like, I could be that. I could do that better. That is so interesting. Yeah. And well, I also think child actors, especially ones that are on sitcoms and stuff, they are highly intelligent because they have to be in a room with adults. They have to be able to read or memorize very quickly.
Yeah.
So, and and be able to focus. And also I think, so the one, 2 commercials I got, one of the commercials was, Marine Land, whatever, which was like a poor man's SeaWorld. and it's now where that Terranea is in Palos Verdes, that hotel. Anyway, so it was there. And so I had to like be like, look, and it was a Shamu or some whale or whatever, had a baby. And I had to be like, look, there's the baby. And I'm so excited my commercial's coming. I'm finally going to be like, we're watching TV all the time. And then we see the news thing saying that like Shamu freaked out and like killed her baby.
Oh my God.
So my mom's like, well, your commercial's not going to be seen.
Oh my God.
My other sister was doing something else with the dolphins. So she's like, will my commercial still be seen? And I was like, yes. And then we just watched my sister with the dolphins. And I'm like, me hanging on to this like hot guy. I'm like, this guy's my dad. Because my dad was 45 when he had me. So he already had gray hair. He was fit. But they gave me this like 25-year-old because I'm like 5. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I can't believe this guy's going to be my dad. So, anyway, I remember I had at one of these times or whatever, I had like a teacher for the day. It was a different commercial. And they were trying to teach me how to read time at school, like a clock.
Yeah.
And then I had a private tutor. And in one moment of like being with a one-on-one situation, she explained how to read a clock.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, and then later on in life, I was like, oh my God, that's why Brooke Shields is going to Princeton. And that's why like these kids are so smart, because they're not in regular school, quite honestly. And they were probably really smart to even get into acting as a kid.
I feel like it's more like that's like a chicken or the egg. Yeah, they were probably smart to begin with. And then having that one-on-one attention, like, fosters that intelligence. But I will say, like, I went to public school. I wasn't homeschooled. And I don't know. I was good at math and I could read a clock and whatever. I don't know. So, like, I feel like
I could not read a clock. Go on.
I can now. Now I'm like, what is it? Just give it to me in the numbers. Just flat. I don't have the energy. I don't have the time.
Yeah.
You have to have a certain, it's not even like, it's just a certain type of intelligence. I don't even know how to describe it. Because like there are smart kids that exist that are not actors and don't want to be actors. But there's like something, like you said, if you can memorize, it's also like, it's having this fire under you to like, maybe it's just the people pleasing part, but like if you're good at something and then having the like key, something in your brain to be like, ooh, someone just said good job for something that wasn't very hard for me. So I'm just going to keep doing that. And I'm going to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And also I was just like a vengeful little kid. And so like I was made fun of. And then I was like, I'm going to be successful. And everyone says I'm annoying, but I'm going to make a career out of being annoying. And I did.
My sister, she had all the commercials, okay? And then these kids were like, we saw you on a Bold 3, which was like a detergent commercial. How much do you make? How much do you make? And my sister goes, these kids are being mean. They keep saying, how much do I make? And my mom said, just turn around and say, a lot. Well, that was not good. That made her more hated than anybody. Yeah. It seems like every celebrity can access GLP-1s and get skinny fast and easy, but now you can too. Because losing weight, it can be really hard. And when it comes to prioritizing your health and feeling confident and strong, it can really be difficult to know where to start. Well, now you can get your health in check and be confident that you're on the right track to getting healthy through HERS. This is so great because HERS is changing women's healthcare by providing you with access to affordable weight loss treatments. Finally, their holistic approach gives you access to personalized solutions like GLP-1 weekly injections that have the same active ingredients as Ozempic and Wegovy. Start your free online visit today at forhers.com/juicyscoop. That's forhers, forhers.com/juicyscoop for your personalized weight loss treatment options. forhers.com/juicyscoop. HERS weight loss is not available everywhere. Compound products are not FDA approved and verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required restrictions apply. Wegovy and Ozempic are not compounded. This holiday season, give them the gift of confidence with the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra by Manscaped. Whether it's for your partner, brother, or a friend that could use just a little grooming upgrade, this all-in-one set has everything he needs to look and feel his best. It's a perfect way to show you care because every guy deserves to feel a little more polished this winter. Gift him the Weed Whacker 2.0 to tame those rogue hairs, and the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra to keep everything else in check. Have him join over the 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get ready for kickoff by heading over to manscaped.com. Use the code JUICYSCOOP for 20% off plus free shipping. Trust me, you'll be drafting the real MVP of grooming this season. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code JUICYSCOOP at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping. The code JUICYSCOOP at manscaped.com. Stay on top of your grooming game and be ready for anything the season throws your way. Okay, so how did you get started then? Did you get an agent? Because you had, several gigs and guest spots and even a couple series before you got this. How old were you when you got the middle?
I was 17 when I booked the middle. I was like 5 or so. I was actually a really shy kid. I was really shy, but it was mostly because I was scared of having like feelings. And then when I was like, I think 5 or 6, I realized, I like this. I want to I can do it better than Lizzie. Like I can do it. And I begged my mom. I was like, please, can I have an agent? Because I knew, I was like, well, we're in Los Angeles. We're in Los Angeles, California. Like, we're in Hollywood. I can have an agent. We can do it. Look, Mom, we're in the right spot at the right time. Like, a little dumb. But she is a good mom. And so she was like, no. She was like, not now.
Are you an only child?
No, I have 2 brothers.
Okay.
And we actually all, my older brother and I both wanted to do it. And she made us both do theater, like school theater. And so we did theater in school. And then, and I've told this story before, but it is how I got started and it's kind of nuts. So when I was like 8 or 9, 3rd or 4th grade, I think it was 4th grade, Jay Leno came to my school, did this jaywalking segment. It was like kids say the darndest things type of thing where it was Halloween. And he was just asking kids about Halloween. Just like it wasn't even funny. There was no comedy jokes. He was just asking straight up. And kids are very funny. And so like my teacher, the producer of the segment told all the teachers for I think grades 3, 4, and 5, the ones she was like, send your kids who are going to be comfortable on camera.
Yeah.
So they were like, her, Eden, just go, little ham, go do what you want to do. And I did, and I was me, and I was funny unintentionally. Like I was just funny because I was, whatever, smart, annoying, annoying to other kids, but funny to adults. And they aired my segment. They aired my answers. And then the producer of the segment reached out to my mom personally. They singled me out. They were like, that girl. And they were like, is your daughter an actor? Would she be interested in having her own segment on The Tonight Show? And my mom was like, oh boy. And I was like, I told you I'm a star. Yeah. And so so my brother also did, my brother did it with me. It was like an advice column thing. It was like, just at, like, if
How
you
many
got
times
something.
did you guys do it?
Okay, so we did it twice, but here's the thing. Like you said, how Shamu killed her baby. I did it. We recorded 2 segments, and then it was 9/11, and they just cut everything. They were like, "Nope, we can't move on. We can't move on as a country. Like, we don't know what to do. So we don't really have the bandwidth
to
to
even think
focus
on this
your
new
dumb-"
like. Okay, so then that was short-lived.
Yes,
That was short-lived.
but it launched my confidence.
Right.
I was like, Mom, I need an agent now. Like, do you see? Like, I told you I can do this. And so then I think, and if I remember correctly, the cantor at my temple. Are you Jewish? No, McDonald's.
I'm Catholic.
Yeah. So at our temple, the cantor. This is so LA. The cantor's daughter did a voice on. Do you remember the show Rocket Power?
Yeah.
Did a voice on Rocket Power, and so we went to her and we were like, "Who's your agent?" And they got us, me and my brother, our first agents as kids.
Yeah, that's the same thing like with us, with the agents, with the people next door, or whatever. And another story with the agent thing is she was interviewing a lot of people. We had to go to her house in like Hollywood or whatever. And when we got there, she was seeing some other kids, and she was like, "It's not going to work out for you. They don't." She said it right to the mother. "They don't have the look I'm looking for. Don't have her stay in school. Do something." And then she says, "And leave the light on for the McDonald's." Like we witnessed her be that rude to like a mother and some other kids. And then my mom was like, "Okay, I guess our 3 girls were like, a little more happening to her eyes." But yes, wait, I have so many questions. But before I forget, are you familiar with the book "I'm Glad My Mom Died"?
Yes, I am.
And obviously you didn't have that situation with your mom.
Yes.
And between that, just since we're talking about like child actors, between that and all like the Nickelodeon stuff and, Amanda Bynes and things like that, as someone that did it successfully, is happy, you have a relationship with your mother, nothing bad happened to you, I assume.
No.
Like, what is your feelings of that? And did you ever see anything weird or hear anything from other actors at the time?
For sure. I have a good friend who I'm not going to, it's his story to tell, so I'm not going to like say his name, but I've been friends with him for a while, and he had a lot of negative. The parent-child relationship got super fucked up. The agent-child relationship was bad, and like through his adult years a little bit, like it followed, because you create.
Was it a sexual thing or just him being adultified too much and having to support the family and
more
and
that?
Uh-huh.
More that. I think there was a minor, not explicit sexual element, but just not good. And I was talking to my mom recently because she was watching the documentary, whatever, that I couldn't watch. I just. Having lived, and I, like you said, I have no trauma in that way, in that specific way. I think inherently growing up, being a child in an adult environment is just inherently a little traumatizing. Like it's just it's not natural. And so I have, complexes and stuff, but nothing like that. I never felt exploited in the way that I think a lot of child actors were, period. And I think that is my mom. I think my mom was super, super protective, was really protective of me. She also, and it's funny because she worked, she never touched a dime. She never touched a single cent.
She didn't take even the 15-minute management.
No. She didn't even take money for gas.
Oh.
And we spent hours in the car, just like going over the hill, like 3rd and La Brea. We constantly just like Valley, Coldwater Canyon every single day, doing my homework in the car. And she never took any money. It was always like, she was like, if you're going to do the work, like it's your money. Yeah. That's your, and it is like, it's emotional labor on, she saw it. I don't know. She was really great. And but she worked, so she wasn't even always on set with me. She had to pay for like a legal guardian to be there. But she was just she was like the least involved and most involved. She stayed back when she knew she should. She didn't like meddle, but she also, I don't know if she was with me on the set of Zoey 101. I did an episode of Zoey 101, and that was weird.
What was weird about that?
It was just you just felt the
and this
what's
was with
his
Jamie
name?
Lynn Spears.
Yeah.
And she is going to like a Pepperdine or whatever high school.
Yeah.
And it was
shot
a
at
Dan,
Pepperdine.
yeah, it was a Dan Schneider show.
Just not
and
a good
so this
vibe.
is before she came out pregnant.
Yes. Yeah. It
Yeah.
was like season 1 or something. I had one line that actually got cut. So I looked like an extra in the show. But I just remember the dynamics were, I don't know how to explain it other than he felt creepy. He seemed creepy. And everything, there was no joy anywhere. And like being this, I was like 12, I think. And being this just like joy, like I'm going to be on a Nickelodeon show, was just like none of that was there. Everything was very tense. And I think
the energy was just off. It was just an offset. Yeah.
And then hearing people come out being like, it was more than off. Like it was abusive. It was like an abuse. It's like, oh yeah, of course it was. And I think my mom saw that and did not push. Like she wasn't like trying to schmooze with anyone on set. She was like very concerned about, I don't want my daughter to be here for more time than she has to be.
Let's just do the one and done.
Let's get your one line that's going to get cut and get out.
Yeah.
And then she really put the ball in my court. Like, she was like, I'm just going to be here for you if you want to keep doing this. It's so much rejection. Are you cool with this much rejection all the time? And there was something wrong with my brain growing up that I was just like, I didn't care. I didn't see it. My little brother tried, and he did one audition, didn't get it, and was like, I'm out. Oh, that was horrible. This is rejection. I can't. And so by the time I was like, I didn't work. That's the thing. I didn't work that much. On paper, it looks like I worked quite a bit, but like, I did a few commercials. It was great. I did that one episode of Zoey 101. I did like an episode of the OC. I did do a show for ABC. I did another series that went.
Was that the Brothers and Sisters?
Yeah, Sons and Daughters.
Oh, Sons and Daughters.
Brothers and Sisters, very close. And Brothers and Sisters was another show on ABC that actually was successful. Not like Sons and Daughters that went 11 episodes.
Okay.
It was a comedy, and I did that. But then like through high school, I didn't really work that much. And then I got my driver's license, and my mom was like, now you're driving yourself to 3rd and La Brea.
Yeah,
like,
thank God.
It was great.
I interviewed Corey Feldman years ago. Like it might have been 2017 or 18. And someone just wrote me like, you should just interview him. He wrote such a compelling book and everything. And so I had him come on, and came on with his wife at the time, who's now they're divorcing and it's ugly. And I was just asking him about, being a child actor. And this is before like all this stuff with Diddy and everything had come out. And he was just like, Heather, and he's, it was a weird interview, but he was just like, Heather, no child should be a child actor. No child should be a child actor. And I kind of was like, listen, I believed everything he said. Obviously I knew he'd seen some shit, And at this point, Corey Haim had already passed and everything. And but I was like, yeah, but we can't tell stories. We can't tell all the stories we want to tell without kids. Now, they don't have to be Shirley Temple, and have, when you look into her life, she has some stories that are crazy, and she turned out okay. But there still should be a way that a really smart, talented, there still are the Ron Howards, there still are the Edens, there still are, there still are people that were able to do it and stay in it, or do it and move on and still have a great life or whatever. So I think it is challenging for parents, and all I can say is having all these stories come out, if you are lucky enough to have such a talented kid that wants to do it, that you set it up that either that you are probably going to have to be on set, and work it out and really make sure. But I also feel like nowadays, kind of like the way I think Catholic school is probably a lot safer now than it was because there's so many rules because of what happened. Like even when I was a teacher, a parent there, we had just to volunteer in the class. They do full background checks. You have to do this whole thing. No one's ever left alone with a child that isn't theirs. Like all this stuff. So I feel like an actual studio set today is probably way safer than someone just doing content at someone's house on YouTube whose mom is running a family vlog. Like that's where it can get fucked up.
Totally.
This is at least because of the exposure that we know was fucked up before. Yeah.
I mean, good that you're saying that. I haven't been a child on a set in a while. And so all I can say is like how to make it like, yes, you're right. Stories can be told with children, or they should be told with children. But my thing would just be like, have so many protections in place, like way more. And even like offset. I feel like coaching.
Yes. Well, we saw that too with the, in the, you didn't see it, but in the Nickelodeon thing, the real perpetrator was this acting coach.
Yes,
that went away and then was rehired.
All of it. It's just if there are more protections in place, if like it is better now, then totally good. But it's like every single aspect of it needs to be, I think, monitored in the same way that like we monitor children. We make sure it's like illegal to not have a child in school. It should be like illegal to not have someone monitoring a third party, someone monitoring this like child. Like people aren't legal adults for a reason. Like you have to be monitored. Children have to be watched and cared for.
I also think, well, first of all, you got the part when you were 17, so you were almost an adult. But also, you were a character funny actor. You weren't sexualized. You weren't wearing a wig and lashes like these Disney shows at 12 and talking about, well, my boyfriend cheated on me. That's when we used to watch those Nickelodeon shows. I'd hear it in the background and I'd be like, what the fuck is this? What like iCarly. I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, we have a web series. They literally were living a life of 25-year-olds. And I'm like, what
I know
is going on? And so this was, very real. But do you feel like that was an advantage too, probably, that your part was not someone that was, overly sexualized or gorgeous or a cheerleader or whatever?
Huge advantage. I was never, that's the thing, I was never sexualized as a child. I think because I was so goofy, I was not like cute. I was not, and that's where it gets, like I was not a pretty child. I'm fine saying that. I think I'm adorable now. I think I'm cute. I think I'm beautiful. But I was not an attractive child. I think that's a weird phrase, honestly. I think that's gross. My grandma, I just have to, dearly departed, love her. But we were going through I swear to God, this comes back. When I was pregnant, we were going through baby clothes. My mom just got like a bunch of hand-me-down baby clothes and we were going through them. And we saw this one little dress and my grandma goes, "Ooh, that's sexy." And I was like, "No, it's not. No, it's not. It's for an infant." And she was like, No, I'm just saying, like it's sexy, like it's adorable. And I was like, "No, those are different words. And the first one should never, ever be used to describe baby clothes ever." And I think it's just a different time. But it really put it in my brain like, oh my God, some people use these words to describe children. Like that's not. So this is all to say that I was not, thank God, I was not a sexy child and no one thought of me that way. And so I really was funny. And so I took, acting classes. And then I did this other show for ABC, Sons and Daughters, which was improvised. And so I feel like I learned the concept of improv. And I really, really focused, it sounds cheesy, I focused on the craft of it all. I focused more on that. And so, I did. I lucked out with this role that was truly just about the comedy of it. I went out for the cute, even like the high school, the cute girl roles. I never booked them. I simply was not cute enough. And so now I can play them because I know how to, I don't know, do both. I don't know.
Yeah.
But do both, be funny and also be cute. But I definitely did. I lucked out.
And so when you went out for it, were they already familiar? Did you go through all the steps with the callback and everything, or was it like offered to you?
No, it was not offered to me at all. Basically,
I love horrible audition stories, so please tell.
I went in and I read 7+ times. They filmed an original pilot. I read for it, a pre-read. Didn't even get a callback. Didn't even ask to read twice in the room. I go back for the screen test. There are 2 other girls in the room, and the other girls were genuinely 12. They were like, where's your mom? And I was like, at work? They're like, how did you get here? And I was like, I drove. And they're like,
so when you were starting it, they made you 12?
They made me 12.
Oh, wow.
And I had 2 screen tests. I went in the first time, there were 2 other girls. I went in the second time, there was 1 other girl. I swear, I spent 3 minutes in the room with everyone. Everyone else spent like 25 minutes. I got 3 minutes. Then they were like, you booked it. And I was like, I don't believe you.
And when you did the pilot, was it immediately greenlit or you had to wait?
No, we had to wait.
And did you think, like, when did you realize this is a hit and this is going to continue every year? Or did every year you worried about the pickup?
Every year I think I worried about the pickup.
Oh.
I think maybe after season 4, we were like, okay, now we kind of expect it.
So you had this boyfriend in the show.
Yeah.
That was hilarious because he was clearly gay. Either he didn't know it or he's denying it, but you guys had this great best friend chemistry, but you're like, he's my boyfriend.
Yeah.
And again, 10 years ago, that was like a very original, funny concept joke that was so funny and fresh to like watch as an audience member.
Yeah.
And so the 2 of you set out they were going to give you a spinoff.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And so what happened with that?
It was unfortunate. It was unfortunate timing. Everything. It's one of my great, I don't want to say regrets, but like, I think that was a missed opportunity for ABC. It was just really poor timing. We shot a pilot in November. No, we didn't. I'm lying. It was October. And I know that because we waited, we were like, let's just get the pickup. We shot a pilot in October. It was good. It was really good. It was like a actually good pilot. Not all of them are. And I've seen it recently and I was like, okay, this is flawed. I see like this is definitely not perfect, but it is solid. It was just like a good show.
Yeah.
And it started in October. ABC had a complete regime change. The president of ABC at the time became not the president of ABC, and like all of the executives, like no one was there at ABC to make a decision. It was not the real pilot season, so they weren't all on board looking at pilots. It was the end of the year. I think everyone was super tired, and then no one was there. Just literally no one was at ABC to make a decision. And we found out, I think the day before, 2 days before Thanksgiving. We were supposed to find out like—
And what year was this?
2019? 2018. 2018 or 2019.
I think what's kind of great about now is that, like, you know, if you had a pilot at a network and they didn't pick it, it lived at the network, it died at the network, that was the end.
Yeah.
But I feel like in the last few years, they're like, hey, we don't want it, but you know what? Let's toss it to the streamer over here, or we'll give you a chance to sell it over there. And that's what's so much better about today, I think, is that these things don't have to totally die just because, you know.
I think if it was made last year, I think it would have gone to Netflix.
Yeah.
I really think, or it would have gone to Freeform at least. I'm surprised it didn't go to Freeform in general, like then. But I still think there might be life for it. That sounds crazy. Like just in the last year, like spending this much time with Brock, we were like, God, we wish, like I think it still could live there. Because the spinoff took place years in the future. It took like a few years in the future.
Right.
And I think the whole story was like—
was a story that you guys are like married, but he's gay and you still don't know? What is it?
No, because he came out in the show.
Oh, he comes out in the show.
Yeah,
okay.
in the middle. Like he came out in like season 8 or something.
Okay.
They finally, and honestly, it didn't change the dynamic at all. It didn't
Right.
change. It did not change the dynamic. I'm getting too excited. I'm talking too fast.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was like, I think it's about Sue and Brad. It's about Sue, but like Sue and Brad in Chicago. It'd be like them in their 20s.
Got it.
That's a fun concept.
Yeah.
That would be fun, I think.
Yeah.
But no, it definitely would have gone to a streamer if it was made, I think.
Right.
Now. But yeah, the decision fell to literally Bob Iger.
And so now when you've steadily worked for that many years,
Yeah.
and you think you're going to have this other leg of your life, and it's, Was that a hard adjustment to then go back to being just like the working actor trying to get the next gig?
Yeah, it was actually. It was, and I was super prepared for that part of my life. I didn't even want to do the spinoff originally. I didn't even want to. They like convinced me to do it, and I was like, okay, it has to be this, this, and this though. I have to have these certain like, like authorities. Like I have to make this. This is what the thing. I have to have some say over this. So I had some say over it, and then it became a really good thing. And then I got super excited about it. And like you said, I was like, oh, and I'm prepared. Like everyone was like, it's a formality. It's definitely gonna go to series. So I was prepared for this part of my life, and I didn't allow myself to mentally prepare the way that I had been to not have a job.
Right.
And so I would have had months to be like this, to plan, to like just to feel all my feelings about grieving this like yeah, I wasn't a child, but like that's actually what my show really deals with is like growing up, being 17 to 26 are like hugely formative years. And so like I feel like I did grow up. I really did grow up on the show. And the point of all this is that I was not prepared. I was devastated that this thing that was supposed to happen like didn't happen. And then I just felt I was totally at sea. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know, like, I was like, okay, I would have been putting wheels in motion for other things, but I was lost.
And so, you were on a hit sitcom. Were you good about your money during those years?
Yeah. Yeah. I was pretty good about, yeah, I was definitely good about my money. It's still not, I will say, I will never, ever complain about money, ever. But I do think people think that, maybe because of the Friends era, I think people think that TV people have more money than they have.
Like you're set for life.
Yeah, like people think like my grandchildren are set. And that's not the case. It's just like, if you have to be smart about your money, but even still, if you don't work for a while, like you're gonna run out of money. Like you don't have money you don't have infinity money.
Right.
Like, so I feel really super blessed that we don't have to like scramble. Like me and my husband aren't like.
How did you meet your husband?
Boring. Just like through friends.
Oh.
I don't know. It's kind of interesting just in that we were like friends for years beforehand. And he was just like this serial dater. Like he always had a girlfriend. And I was like, ugh, okay, never mind. Like Cronny's a fantasy. Like Cronny's not, he always has a girlfriend. And then I saw him on Tinder one day.
Yeah.
And I got so scared. I was just like, what's Cronny? Why is he on? Swipe left. And I swiped left.
I want to step back a minute.
Yes, sorry.
What was it like going on dating sites and would people recognize you right away or they wouldn't know? Or was that awkward to then be out at a restaurant and somebody's like, love you. And the guy being like, what's that about? Like, how did you let people know that you were on a hit sitcom?
Okay, well, it's a little bit tricky because back in the day on Tinder, you had to have a Facebook. You had to have a Facebook to like have an account because I think they just wanted to verify that you're a real person. And I did not have a Facebook because I had maybe professional Facebook, but I didn't have one because I was like, I just don't have Facebook. I can't do that. And so I had to use my friend's account. She did this thing where she let me change all of her profile pictures to me for just a period of time.
Okay.
And then I signed up to Tinder with her because she had a girlfriend already. Like she didn't need, she was set. And she let me use her account. I put the pictures up and then she changed all her pictures back to her after because it was already set. So it said it was all my pictures, but it said my name was Allie.
Who is your friend?
Who's my friend.
Got it.
And so it was kind of this good buffer, like people who didn't know who I was just was like, hey, you're a girl named Allie. And then I had to sort of explain. And then, so that's how I got it out. But some people did recognize me and were like, hey, like you're pretending to be this girl. Like that's really fucked up. Like you're catfishing as this, like she's an actress. And I had to be like, no, I am actually her. But also I don't want to date you because you know who I am. Like I don't want to I don't think it's going to be weird.
Oh my gosh.
But I dated a couple guys. Actually, I'm friends with one of the guys too. He's like a producer. And
so you guys get married and then you find out you're pregnant with identical twins.
Yeah.
So this was all natural.
All natural.
Do you have twins in your family?
No. And if you see my show, I talk about this. I talk about how identical twins happen because they are not genetic. They're not genetic in any way. Anyone can get pregnant with identical twins.
It's just that the embryo splits.
It's just that the embryo splits.
Okay.
The little zygote splits in two, makes little clones in your body, and then somehow it works. I'm always like the miracle of life. Like,
so when did you find out that you were, first you found out you were pregnant?
Yeah.
Because you peed on a stick or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Then, so was it the first ultrasound that they saw 2 heartbeats?
No, this is the most insane part. I pee on a stick. I'm pregnant. Okay, great. Oh, I'm pregnant with a baby. We were trying. We were like trying because I was like, yeah. Go in for an actual scan, and she says, I wasn't even thinking of anything other than just one baby. And she goes, yep, you like there's a heartbeat, and it's just one. And I was like, she's like, and it's a singleton. And I was like, okay, of course it is. That's what happens when you're pregnant. But okay, great. I'm glad it's just one. I go in for the next scan. So they tell me at a doctor, at my OBGYN, that it is just one child or one zygote, one baby happening. And then I go in for my next one.
And they don't know the sex at that point?
No.
Okay.
They just know it's a functioning, viable, yeah. Then I go in for my next one at, I think it was 8 weeks, 8.5 weeks-ish. And
It's still really early though, but yeah.
It's still really early, yeah. But I already thought it was just one. She told me it was just one. And I talk about this in my show, but she literally turns to me. She like gasps, and I was like, she gasps and like holds her, like she doesn't look happy. She just like, and I was like, this is it. Like I miscarried.
Yeah.
That's like, okay, that's fine. That happens. I know that happens.
It's all going through your head in like not even a second. Yeah.
And she turns to me like slowly, like truly takes like 8 seconds to turn her head and just holds up a peace sign. And I was like, what? And my husband, and she goes, Nick, his name is Nick, like, actual Nick, like Nick, come over here. Let me show you if you can see what I see. And because he saw her do this, and I was like, oh my God, what is happening? And she points to him, and he's like looking. He's like, can you see the monitor? Can you see the whatever? She's like, see that there, right there? There's a heartbeat. And then she just goes, and there's another one right there. And we were like, I saw all the blood drain from my husband's face. And I was like, oh.
Did you ever like have twin friends growing up? Did you ever think twins would be fun? Did you ever play with twin dolls?
No, never. I had a twin friend. I actually had fraternal twin friends. I did. There were 2 of my best friends. It was a boy-girl twins. Actually 2 sets of fraternal twins. But I was never like a twin person. Everyone I think is fascinated by identical twins to some degree.
I am totally, yeah.
They are just as fascinating to have. They are.
And so your girls are 3.
They're 3 now, and they are.
And do they still look identical?
To me, they look very different. To people who they wear glasses.
Now, would you put them into acting because they can do twice the amount of work?
They are identical twins. Identical twin babies
hours,
are hot commodities. I have learned.
Yes.
And when they were babies, I was like, when they're babies, modeling like extra cash college fund. Like, okay, sure, let's do it. Like, why not?
And did you get the stuff?
No, not at all. It was so much work
to put them out there.
It's so much work putting them out there. And I was like, and then I realized I would be the worst stage mom ever because you have to, at the slightest sign of discomfort, I would pull them. If they started crying and they were like, no, make them stop crying, I'd be like, fuck you, get out. Like, we're leaving. I would never, ever have them ever be like uncomfortable in that way.
Yeah, with the Everyone Loves Raymond, the twin boys were the actual, if I'm correct, the biological brothers of the little girl.
I think they were. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Because they did really look alike. Like a lot.
Yeah, it just like worked out.
Yeah.
Like and in real life, I think that Ray only has the boys. He only has twin boys in real life because it was based on his life.
No, I think he does have a girl also. I think
Really?
he has 3, yeah.
Okay.
I only know that because I think my friends went to school with them.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. But maybe those were the most, I think
Yeah.
it's the most interesting. The twin part is the most interesting. So
Right.
that's probably the part that people
Remember, yeah, from like his stand-up and stuff before
Yeah.
getting the show. Yeah.
Yeah, they're so funny. And they ask for Frozen, and I don't know why. I don't know how we got onto English and Spanish. We do both English and Spanish versions. And one of them was like, "Mommy, I need Let It Go. And my other kid goes, in Spanish? And she's like, no, in English. And they just back and forth. We're like crying. When I'm crying, going, in English. And the one who wanted Spanish just kept saying, in Spanish.
Do you dress
the whole
them
time.
alike?
I don't.
Right.
I don't.
That's not, you're not supposed to, I think.
I know people who do. Yeah. I have other friends, and I just think it's, I think it's confusing for everyone else because other people can't recognize, they can't tell the difference between them. Yeah. So I think it's, and they just want different, sometimes they ask for the same thing. Sometimes they get really upset. They will ask, they will be like, if one of them has a red shirt, sometimes we have to get two of the same because it's just,
they like it so
fairness.
Much. Yeah.
Yeah. They get very
Do they
upset.
ever have a thing where like one stubs their toe and the other one goes, ouch?
They don't say ouch, but they will go over and like freak out. They'll say like, my sister is crying, look, her toe. And they'll say like, I feel bad, I feel sad. That makes me sad when my sister is sad when she stubs her toe.
That's so amazing to me.
I'm like,
it's so cool.
Do other 3-year-olds, we're like, that's called empathy.
Yeah.
And so now they say like, I have empathy for my sister.
I'm an empath.
They literally
in Spanish, please.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, listen, tell us about your show and what's going on where it is now. So you did this everywhere. You went on the road. It's like a one-woman show.
Yeah.
With lots of fun stories about your life, and you want to film it. So tell us about that.
So it really is. It's a journey. It's like it was in the few years after the middle ends. It's about me like coming to terms with my identity as a person, as like a human being who is not Suheg, but also kind of is Suheg. And that's the problem, is that I kind of am. And
wait, let me ask you one question before is there anything that, like, when I'm sure you're going to say, 99% of the time when somebody walks up to you and says, I love the show, you were amazing. Is there any time where it isn't great?
Well, watch my show. Yeah. That's my whole show.
That's some weird stuff. Give me one instance where it wasn't great.
Well, I'll give you a little. I don't know if I should spoil it. It's a huge thing that happened. I had a crazy labor and delivery. Actually, a lot of the show is about my labor and delivery. Okay. But it is intertwined with this. And so I had a crazy labor and delivery, and I had I delivered at 28 weeks. Which is very early for anyone who doesn't know. They were in the hospital for a while. But my delivery, one came out vaginally and the other was an emergency C-section.
Oh, wow.
And before the emergency C-section, I'll just say that someone in the room, while I'm freaking out, while I'm like, I don't know if my babies are alive right now, someone is like, where do I know you from? Where do I know you from? And I had to be like, I don't know. Is my baby alive? They're like, no, I know you from somewhere. Literally like, giving me like an epidural, being like a needle in my neck, needle in my spine, being like, you're an actor, right? And then eventually telling me that.
Have you ever had someone where it's like, where do I know you from? And finally you're like, I'm an actress. I'm on TV. And then they're like, that's not it.
100%.
That's not it. I think we went to high school together. And you're like, well, I didn't go to your high school, so I think it might be it. And then you're to the point where you're like, well, now you're making me feel conceited because I'm literally saying I'm famous and you don't believe me. Has that happened to you?
Yes. Well, 90% of the time people are like, did we go to high school together? Yeah. That's like, because it's like TV is weird. It lodges in a weird part of your brain. That's not like normal movie stars.
Yeah.
But one time, so all the time people are like, were you at Dan's party on Friday? And I'm always like, no, I don't know Dan. Like, that's not where you know me from. And usually I'll try to be like, I'm not going to be conceited. Like, I'm not going to. Yeah. But this one time I was out to dinner and I was like, I don't have time for this. So the guy was like, you look so familiar. And I was like, do you watch The Middle? And he goes, no. And I was like, okay. Do you, okay. Do you watch, I don't know. Is there another TV show? Did you watch Weeds or something? And he was like, no. He's like, oh, do you know Mike? And I was like, I do know Mike.
Just to end it.
No, I I did know Mike. He was like, I saw you at Mike's workshop the other day. And I was like, oh my God, that is where he was. He was like, no, I don't know who the fuck you are. Like, I don't know. I don't watch your show. I was like, okay, sorry. Never mind. So I'll never do it again.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about this.
So my show, it talks about my journey. I want to film it. I have a Kickstarter. It costs a lot of money to film, it costs a lot of money to film a special.
Yeah.
And I really, really, really want people to see it. It's a really special show to me. And so I'm trying to raise money. I'm trying to raise money to film it.
So where can they go to check it out?
Any one of my socials.
Instagram?
My Instagram, my TikTok.
Which is Eden?
Yeah, which is just Eden. Oh, it's Eden_Sher.
Yeah.
Why isn't it just Eden Sher? That is so annoying.
And Sher is SHER.
Yeah, Eden_Sher. You can also go to EdenSherLive.com. You can also search I Was On A Sitcom on Kickstarter. It's in my bio everywhere. It's just, you can't escape it if you go to my socials.
And then also you have your podcast.
I do. Yeah, and I have my podcast, Middling with Eden and Brock.
And you guys cover the middle, but anything else? You have guests and what?
We do. We have guests. Actually, you should come on if you want one day.
Oh, sure. I'm a big fan of the show.
That's kind of what we. So we have.
One of my favorite episodes was one of the Mother's Day.
You should come and recap a Mother's Day episode
where they, because this was so relatable to the mom. So she's so tired, and they're like, you know what? We're gonna leave you to just do your day alone. So they go, and then she ends up not relaxing, like defrosting the fridge, doing all this shit. And then they come home and they're like, we had the best time. You guys come with the dad. We had the best time. We went to the farm and then we went to the park and then we went to the amusement thing. And she's just like, and now my day's over and I didn't spend any time with my kids. And I think that was such a brilliant episode because I think people always think, and we did it once to my mother-in-law. She came to Vegas where my brother-in-law lived, and we said, and here's a spa day, and you are going tomorrow. And she didn't want to go tomorrow. She wanted to spend the time with everybody.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you can give someone a gift, but don't tell them to go do something or not do something that day. Like, because it's like the whole point. Everybody wants a different thing, but I just thought that was just like such a clever episode. But yes, I'd love to come on and talk more about it with you. Yeah.
Truly, we could do that episode. And I remember seeing that episode recently. I watched it, I think, as research for when I was writing my show. Now, like rewatching it as a mom, I'm like, one of the things they hit on in that episode is this like constant battle, this like, I just want a break. I want a fucking break. But also this guilt. This like, but I want to be with my kids. I know I want to be with them. And
then you miss them.
And then you miss them.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel. That's how
It's more just like when they're little, like your age. It's like, I just want to eat this Chinese chicken salad in peace.
I just want to poop alone.
I don't eat 8 hours alone. I just want to eat this one salad by myself.
Like 20 minutes where I'm not sharing my food and then having it be on the floor.
Yeah.
Just 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And men will never understand that because they will just eat their sandwich.
That's okay, my husband, literally the other day, he made himself a bowl of lentils and then just ate it. And I was like, what did you just do? And he was like, I was hungry. I wanted to eat my food. And I was like, but they were also hungry. Why did they wanted it? Why didn't you give it to them? And he was like, because I wanted my food. And I was like, oh, interesting tactic to just eat food. Never considered it.
That's hilarious. Well, thank you so much. This was really fun. I so enjoy your stories and your energy. And everybody go check out her Instagram and her show and her podcast and hopefully, participate in it and get it so that we can see it at some point.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Thank you.